Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside the Pigskin. My name is Scott Morgan, off the Motor City Manmouth. We have a great show lined up. I'm going to give you an overview of what we're going to talk about, and then I have the dream team, as always. We're going to talk about Tua Tagovailoa. I guarantee you there won't be any Christmas cards to Mr. Flores. My favorite guy I like to kick around, Herm Edwards, is going to be on here tonight, at least. Connor Stallions, why would I bring him on this show? Oh, if you only knew why. And you will stick around. Archie Griffin, Guardian Caps. I have a bonus topic, and guess what? Everybody's going to be able to have their own parting shot. So anxious to see what they all are. With that said, let's talk about the group. We have, oh my goodness, it is Travis. I got approved for season pass Holmes for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh man, that's an interesting introduction. I appreciate that, Scott. Yeah, nice to see y'all.
Hey, listen, the way they're cracking down the credentials, man, I'm proud of you. They can become more magnified. Mel don't have to worry about being approved for credentials because we have our own thing here, and you know what? Nowadays, even if you're a member of the media, nobody gets that much access, so don't worry about it. You're better off watching at home. But he's our running back, and we hand him the rock, Malfar.
How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? Hey, Coach, if I didn't say hello to you earlier, how's it going?
What's up, Mel?
I was doing some research.
There you go. And Bo Crouch, okay?
How's it going, guys?
And then CB spelled backwards is Coach Bono. I did that last week and stumbled, but now I'm getting better at the BC and the CB.
What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody. We put the band back together tonight.
Yeah, we do. I enjoy this group here big time. This is the dream team. And if I'm partial, I'm guilty as charged. All right. I'm not going to be guilty as charged when I introduce this topic, but I can tell you one thing. Tua compared Brian Flores' negative coaching style to the supportive approach of current coach Mike McDaniel, which Tua credits for his improved performance. Well, not only that, okay, he got a big paycheck here because of Mike McDaniel. So with all due respect, okay, we know that Tua is not sending any Christmas cards to Brian Flores, but Kevin O'Connell of the Minnesota Vikings came to Brian Flores' defense is what he did and saying that Brian Flores is getting along well with them. So, all right, you know what, Travis, I'll give you a first crack at this. We know that it's like night and day between, Flores and Mike McDaniel.
But at the end of the day, Flores went, what was it, he went 10-6 with, he went 10-6 and he went 9-8 with a quarterback who he didn't necessarily like. Right. A quarterback that was pushed on him. And that sounds pretty solid at the end of the day. Whether he was his flavor or not, that's a preference, and I fully understand that. But at the same time, if you have someone who wants you to run their system, who wants you to run it in their way, and you're in the NFL, you're not gonna. All coaches aren't gonna be that new age versus old age coaching thing. Like that's basically what it felt like when I read the report. I'm happy he's telling his truth. But I'm also happy Brian Flores is the kind of defensive coach that's going to probably curse you out a little bit. Like, he's going to probably tell you the truth. And I don't see either one of these parties necessarily being wrong in that way. It just kind of is what it is. Like, hey, man, you want his flavor. That'll make you not this other guy's flavor over here because all coaches won't be Mike. White Mike. That's what I call Mike McDaniel. So that's that dude. But yeah, so at the end of the day, I don't think it wasn't a favorable light for Brian Flores, but I also don't necessarily believe that he was wrong in that situation. Winning coach, hey man, they're kind of these are grown adults. They're gonna try to tell it how it is, and if you're that brand of person, then you understand. And if you're not that brand of person, then you may find that brand of coach that's gonna coach the way that you are. Hey man, it is what it is.
All right, we'll go to a Coach Apano.
Look, here's the thing: you have to look at the bigger picture, and I think Flores is an outstanding coach. And I understand Kevin O'Connell coming into his defense, but he's in a different role right now. He's in the role of defensive coordinator, which was the role that he held in New England, and this really goes back to more of a cultural thing, I think, with the Patriots, with Belichick, arguably the greatest coach to ever coach in the NFL, has won more Super Bowls. But when you look at Belichick's tree, who's been successful? You can look at McDaniels, right? Matt Patricia, no, and then Flores, no. And the common denominator that comes out of all of those deals is there's always a lot of discontent within the roster, just in terms of how people are being treated and that sort of thing. So, I think, those guys are going into situations, accepting head coaching positions and trying to emulate something that they have seen have success, but they'd be better off probably taking a step back and leading a little bit more by their own personalities, if that makes sense. You can contrast that with a Kyle Shanahan, who hasn't won any titles, but has had, some the guys on his tree have gone on and have been successful head coaches. You look at McVay, LaFleur, now McDaniels. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of a little bit of maybe a old school versus new school approach in terms of, these guys are grown men. Look, everybody wants to win. They understand, the ramifications that come along with not winning. But at the end of the day, you have to, do probably a little better job of communicating. It doesn't have to be a dressing down every time. You know what I mean? There's probably more effective ways to talk to guys.
Okay, D-Los has a comment for you, Travis. I like this one too. Comment for Travis. How about Shaquem Griffin being inducted UCF?
Guess I need a new parting shot.
That was your parting shot?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Really?
So I won't go into too much detail, but
it's awesome. But
this is probably the most overdue and expected, certifications, I guess I'll call it, crownings of a UCF player. He's probably one of the best defensive players in UCF history, if not maybe one of the better UCF players, period. And that's a very tall bar to put when you're talking about guys like Dante Culpepper. So yeah, it was well earned.
Okay, good, nice comment, D-Los. All right, we'll turn it over to Mel.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. There's different ways to coach, different styles of coaching. Coach knows this better than I do. I mean, you have kids. I have 5 kids, man, and I love them all, but I treat them all differently because they're all different. You can't treat everybody the same. And as a coach, you have to know which players you can get on, which players you can't get on. You can't treat them all the same across the board. You can beat a dog and he'll do what you want him to do, or you can love a dog and encourage the dog and reward the dog, and the dog will do everything that you want him to do. Now, the dog that you beat on, you're gonna have to worry about him at some point in time turning on you, because that's what he's probably gonna do. He's gonna turn on you. Tua has an opportunity now, and he's kind of letting people know about Brian Flores and how that situation affected him while he was there. I played for coaches that like to holler and scream, and I played for coaches that like to treat you like men. Both of them were great coaches. It's just they had to do something to fit their personality, that fits their personality, and then again, they still have to know which buttons to push on what players. And I think the problem was with the coaches that came from the Patriots is I don't think it necessarily fit their personality. I think they're trying to do something that worked there in New England, and then they wanted to take that with them and make it seem like they were that type of individual, and then try to coach that way, and it didn't work.
Right.
Players know real soon they can determine whether you're for real or whether you're phony, and I think a lot of them just looked at these gentlemen as being phonies and just had no respect from them from day one. They could see right through them, and they could see that these guys were scared, had no idea what it is that they were doing, and they had no respect for them from the beginning, and that's why they never played for them, and why, unfortunately, for those coaches, things never, it didn't pan out that well for them as head coaches. Things didn't pan out well.
Okay, we'll turn it over to Bo.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we talked about before, that tough coaches have kind of been finding their way out of the league anyway, right? Like there's a definite change in the way that players like to be coached. And then at the same time, Flores did have he felt some sort of way about Tua anyway, right? Because he had a winning season going with Fitzpatrick, and then, they force-fed him a guy that was not performing. So I would be mad about that too, right? Because wins matter as a coach. So, I kind of get some of what's going on there. How's it going, Kenny? But yeah, I mean, if the player doesn't respond well to it, you got to find a different way to do it, because otherwise you just create division, within.
And the other thing that I meant to mention with it, he's a defensive coach, and I don't have any problem with defensive coaches. Don't get me wrong. But what is he going to do? He's going to protect his defense. He's not trying to sling the rock all around the yard. That's not what he wants to do, because he wants to protect his defense. No, McDaniels, being an offensive coach, considered a genius. He wants to show people how smart he is. So he's wanting to try to show all the different things that he can do on the offensive side of the ball. It doesn't care about the position that he may put his defense in.
But from another angle, I actually wanted to ask you, Mel, and ask you, Coach, just because your specialty in and around the league. Do you believe that more defensive coaches are those hard-nosed, are those, curse you out, are those just straight in your face kind of guys, or are those the ones who are more willing to be softer? Because in my experience, I always thought if you have someone who's going to hold your hand, it's going to probably be an offensive coach versus a defensive coach. Is that not true?
I think that's probably a fair generalization, but it's still I use the word generalization. I don't think it's I think, look, I've been around all kinds of coaches, I mean, so it really comes down to respect. And I always believe that, you're going to have, look, my job as a coach, there's going to be a lot of times my job is to be critical of your performance. So I'm going to have to tell you things that you don't like. Right. And I think every player recognizes that and understands that, but it's the delivery of how you deliver that message. I've always believed that you attack the problem, not the person.
All right, the one.
That's Frank Gans. That's Frank Gans.
That's exactly right.
We're in the high performance business, right? We don't attack people. We attack problems.
No, that's 1,000%. And I mean, I was Coach Gans's assistant for 2 years in Jacksonville before I became a coordinator. And so I was with him every single day for 2 straight years. And really the only assistant he ever had in his, however many decades he had as a coach. I mean, that man was like a father to me, but I really, I took that, adopted that philosophy. And what it did for me was it crystallized, or it gave me a way to articulate something that I already believed in already.
Right. And what are problems?
Oh, there's always anything that keeps us from our highest standard in our preparation or execution is a
That's
problem.
right. Okay. Anything that prevents us from performing at the highest level.
That's right.
Those are problems.
Well, just wanted to note that the Dolphins owner also did not want Tua. He was obviously trying to get Brady on the boat. So, that was actively happening at that time.
Well, let me just say this, okay? I enjoy watching every one of you guys talk. It's amazing the chemistry you guys have. Here, I'll bring it down as simple as I possibly can do it. Number one, okay, tough love is what Tua didn't want. Being cradled by Mike McDaniel is what he did want. Okay, as a result, and I live in the area, so I read all the releases that come from the Dolphins, and let's not forget that the Dolphins tried to go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson, and that never came to fruition as well. So the reality is you're right, okay? Fitzmagic is out there, lollygaggers, it's true. And I think that when you put everything into perspective, that Tua finally last year had a season where he was actually healthy all year. And that's why you needed Fitzmagic in the first place, because the guy wasn't durable. So, I get where he's coming from. I still don't think that you throw your old coach under the bus anyways. I just don't like doing it. But then again, like I titled the show, he's not sending him any Christmas cards anyway, so what's the difference? So
Tua just got 200 and how much?
He said it after he got paid. That's the FU money.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
How many million? He can say what he wants to say now.
Yeah, right. We have a Mike McDaniel got him paid. I mean, let's look at these things in the chat. Kenny of the 49ers.
So he's saying how you like me now. That's what he's telling Brian Flores.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, let's go to Kenny. This guy's on a roll. You guys putting McDaniels ahead of Kyle Shanahan when it comes to I don't know. I'll let you guys. No, I don't think so. All right, 50 years since Miami won a Super Bowl and counting, because they haven't mastered how to win in the cold weather. Okay, when I think South Florida, I don't think football is damn hot. Those poor kids. Okay, Yeah, but those poor kids are making some CASH, so I wouldn't really say they're that poor, and there's no state income tax here as well. So, I knew that this was, but again, Kevin O'Connell has Brian Flores up there, and the natural thing is you're going to always come to the other guy's defense if he's on your team. That's just natural, anyways. Whether I agree with it or not, it's another story. But we thought this last topic was potent. This next one is, in my eyes, even more potent. Okay, Herm Edwards and Robert Saleh resting Aaron Rodgers at practice due to weather. The last time I checked football, players play football. Robert Saleh comes back, call it out overprotection, but that's just a decision I made. You know what? I'm leading off on this one. Number one, Herman Edwards is so darn stupid, and I hate this guy. I really do. Okay. We played a win to get. Oh, no, I'll have my rant on this one.
Should have brought some popcorn for this.
Oh, no, yeah, get ready. Listen, I have one rant per show, and I was waiting to put this one in here. I really want it. Now I'm getting really wild here. So bring out the popcorn. Bring it out. I don't care. Herman Edwards, okay, comes on, after that situation that we had, was it the Buffalo Bills player that collapsed on the field? Yeah. Okay, so luckily he survived. Didn't even know. He said, "I've never seen didn't know anybody ever died on the field." Well, Herman Edwards is 67 years old, right? Damar Hamlin, I think, is that his name?
That is correct.
Right. Okay. Good. At least so. He didn't know anybody didn't die. Well, I was at the game when Chuck Hughes died, right, Mel? I mean, you and I have a history with this thing. So Herman Edwards is so darn stupid that he doesn't even know the history of the sport that he's even coaching and talking about. And to make matters even worse about Herman Edwards, you could take the son out of devil, and what did he do to Arizona State football? Okay, he ran that program to the ground, and obviously he got run out of Arizona back to ESPN, where he could go back, and I don't know a darn thing about what I'm talking about, but no, I could go ahead and criticize Robert Saleh. Well, little does Herman realize, okay, he's trying to avoid what happened to you a couple times and not get fired, okay? So Robert Saleh's got to protect Aaron Rodgers from getting fired because he only had him for all of 4 plays last year, and I think he'd like to have him a little bit more than 4 plays. So as far as I'm concerned, okay, back to the old adage with Herman Edwards that they say on ESPN, which is going to the toilet anyways, okay, just shut up, Herman. I hate you. Okay, I really do. Tell me how you really feel, okay? I already did. So give me a break. You're going to criticize Robert Saleh for protecting his quarterback over protection. Get real. Nobody can save you in Arizona State. Nobody can save you in Kansas City. And nobody was saving you with the New York Jets. We played and win the game. Well, guess what, sick them head? You didn't win enough games to play to win the game anyway, and you got run out of every darn stop you were in. So leave Robert Saleh alone and focus on doing something that I don't do in my book, and don't make any factual errors if you can even think of that, Herman, which I know you're not capable of anyways. So how do you guys feel? See, now I got the first word in, and I could go on. I wanted this topic in here, but I wasn't going to put it in until I had everyone in here. Herman Edwards, just shut up. Okay, you guys can talk now. All right.
Man.
I'm not even sure how to respond to that. That's you get the hater of the year award by far.
Somebody had to follow me. It was you, brother.
That was giving off some leave Brittany alone action.
I'm like, gosh, you are not letting that man become a new person at all. He is like, I'm gonna bring up what you did in 1968. I'm gonna bring up what you did last year. And wow, like, all right, cool.
If he was right in front of me, you know what I do? I take my size 11 and step on his face so he couldn't talk anymore.
Okay, so I understand what Herm is saying, and I fully understand. I get what Saleh's trying to do. He's trying to your point, protect this quarterback. He doesn't want the guy to get hurt. The guy's coming off of pretty serious injury, and I don't want to call it experimental, but I think that might be the right word choice for his surgery that he had late last season. So right. Yeah, you want to be a little cautious with that. However, this was also a joint practice. It's not like they were going live. It's not so significantly different than most other practices in that way, other than the fact that it was a wet field. So do you want to give him another 28 days? It's going to be till the season starts to rest and recover. Sure. From that perspective, yeah, you're protecting your quarterback. You got to do what you got to do. I get that, but there is no right answer on this. But if you want, the games count in 28 days. These don't, even if they're joint practices. It is what it is. He just kind of sounds like he's a little butthurt because he wanted the action between the individual teams.
Well, yeah, these are all joint practices. Don't tell that to the Lions and the New York Giants who played rough and got fined 200 grand doing it. So, let's face the reality. They don't tell them that they're joint practices for all these teams and injuries that are piling up where everybody's getting a little bit too roughy here during these joint practices because they got fined 200 grand. And I don't know about you guys, but all of us can use 200 grand. So, again, I'll go back to what I said about Herman Edwards. Just shut up. Okay, I should say that after everything you guys say because that way I'll be able to get it off my chest. So, and I know you guys are having fun with it. I don't care. I'm glad you guys are. It's great stuff. There you go. That's one of my favorite words. Good stuff. Great minds think alike. Herman's watching. Good. I hope he can tell me I can't rest because I got a few things I'd like to tell him. All right, so we'll continue on, Mel. I'm on fire tonight.
So Aaron Rodgers goes down. Who's the backup?
Right.
That's the guy who he had playing.
I don't remember who's the Jets backup. I don't remember.
Tyrod? What was it? It was
it's Tyrod Taylor.
It was some T-word. So it might have been Tyrod.
Yeah, I think it's so. It was Robert Saleh. I mean, he knows. I mean, and Joe Douglas. I think is that their GM? I can't remember who their GM is, or is that Giants? I'm thinking of Giants. But right now, I mean, everybody understands that their job is dependent upon Aaron Rodgers. I mean, the Jets have pushed all their chips to the middle. They're all in. Jerry Jones says he's all in. They're all in. The Jets are all in. And so, yeah, I mean, things happen. Funny things happen in joint practices. There's guys on that other team that are trying to stand out, obviously, in these joint practices, and they want to look good. And they're trying to secure a position for themselves. So, and then, ground is a little slippery. All they need is the guy to slip and fall back on Aaron. I mean, yeah, I would have done the same thing. I mean, because right now my livelihood rests on the right arm and ever Achilles of Aaron Rodgers. So I want to make sure that he's healthy and I can get 16, 17 games out of him. And once the dust settles, see where we land. See where we stand rather. Once the dust settles.
Well, in the eyes of Herman Edwards, he may think he plays to win the game, but his eyes. We're playing to lose the game. Ha ha. We should take a ride up there and stick it where the sun doesn't shine and let him go work out. Because the one thing he hasn't done is he's worked out his mouth too much where he doesn't have any substance in it. Continue on, Coach. I know I'm leading everybody with a comment before I introduce them on this particular topic. Folks, it does get easier, but I had to make sure we had enough room for me to blow off some steam. And
yeah, you blew it off. It's like for sure.
I'm like, when it comes to this topic,
Herm, you coach to win the game, right?
Right.
So,
with this show, I'm like a steam locomotive when it comes to Herman Edwards. Okay, sorry to interrupt you.
Look, I mean, Aaron Rodgers you're not talking about a guy that hasn't had a bunch of snaps in that offense, right?
Right.
So, look, I'd never fault a coach for resting a player, especially in the preseason. I mean, there really aren't any more points to make. I think, but at the same time, it's something to talk about, and that's what we do.
Hey, Coach, are you enjoying the show tonight now that I had a chance to blow off steam on this?
Yeah, I am. I'm always enjoying the show.
Yeah, but this time I decided to really let my gray hair show off here because you know what? I still hate Herman Edwards, even though I believe that he wrote a book with Jim Tunney, who was one of the classiest people on the planet. But you know what? You're right. I mean, this is preseason for crying out loud. You're not playing to win those games. All you're playing to do is stay healthy. That's all but Herman Edwards isn't smart enough.
Well, obviously, this man is known for something, and he believes it to his core. Yeah, I respect you being consistent, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I got to be consistent in every comment that comes after you guys.
Play to win all the games. And good evening, Turbo Jetum.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hey, Turbo Jetum, you missed a lot of the fireworks in topic number 2 because yours truly went off. Okay.
So is it
Yeah,
Jetum or is it Turbo Jet Tom?
Turbo Jetum. Yeah, Turbo
Huh.
Jet Tom. I don't know. All right. Yeah, I guess in the eyes of all these other
Turbo,
guys here.
Turbo, do us a favor and give us a phonetic spelling. Phonetic.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, what
yeah,
were you going for? Let us know.
yeah, there you go. Turbo Jetum. Whether you know much about football or not, at least give it a phonetic spelling here, because that way, in the eyes of Judd, okay, we can all pronounce it right, and must us not pronounce names right. But you know what, Turbo Jetum, for all the things that you brought to the show, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Lately, it's been a lot of good. You missed some really good fireworks tonight, and we'll let Bo wrap it up so I can slam Herm again, and then we'll go to some other real easier topic. Or will they be? I don't know.
The thing that's funny, the way you're going after him, I just keep expecting you to like pull the mask of Scott's face off and be Jeremy.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of comments that are coming through.
Like the Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
Right?
that's it. You're good.
I actually get kind of being protective of Aaron Rodgers in the way that, he made it, 5 snaps into last season.
Hmm.
Right. So, I mean, do I want to see him get some practice? Sure. But you have a new backup that needs reps also. Right. And if you have any thought that Aaron Rodgers doesn't make it through the season, you want Tyrod Taylor to have as many reps as he can have. So I don't hate it. But, okay, go ahead. Unleash on Herm.
Okay. Hey, Herman Edwards, just shut up again for the 5th time. I don't know nothing about math, but I do know with 4 or 5 people, Herman Edwards just shut up to the 4th or 5th power. I don't know. Is that algebra or is that, I don't know what kind of math that is. I was never any good at it. They always say if you're good at math and you're bad at English. So take it for whatever it's worth. I was bad at math. The only thing I can tell you my famous math story of all time back in grade school. Okay. I'll never forget when I had a $40 Texas Instrument calculator, and I was like in 3rd or 4th grade. And let me tell you, at Cunningham Drugs, remember Cunningham Drugs store out in Metro Detroit? I remember buying this 40. It got confiscated. It's $40 back then. That was a lot of money. Seriously, really. So 4th, 5th power, I don't know, but I know one thing: everybody's waiting for a station break, and you know what, Herman Edwards. Anytime I could get you in the show, I could burn off a lot of energy. I could get a lot out of my system. I got news for everybody that follows football. If you have a bad day, find somebody out there you want to kick around. And if you're able to do one of these 3 million podcasts out there and somebody will listen to you, it's a good way to let off some steam. Tonight, I feel like Tri-Rail, Amtrak, and all that rolled into one because I'm definitely burning off a lot of steam. And I have a very attentive audience and a great crew to let me go out there and turn it loose. Bingo. I'll be turning red like an apple. Well, maybe not because of gray hair. All right, Candy, take over.
I feel like there's got to be a caption at the top that says, "These views are our own. We don't endorse bullying." I feel like there's a more segment supposed to come after this.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call what I'm doing to Herman Edwards bullying because after all, I went to a school that I actually have a mascot named after me, the University of South Florida Bulls. Okay. And, it depends on what side of the table. Tonight, I've been the Raging Bull, and they have Bronco Bulls. I'm a bull. I even have a bull chain in my safety deposit box. All right, with that said, Candy, okay, I'll wait for yours truly to get his regular color back. You can go out there and give us a station break.
I feel like I should be putting a disclaimer on this or something. Wow. Okay. So the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book last November, actually. Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by the man that turned red tonight, Scott Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And the foreword is written by George Eichhorn. It talks about how media has changed over the course of the 40 years. In his next book, his sequel, which he's going to start working on, I'm sure he'll be talking about tonight's episode and turning red. But anyways, this book is available Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. Get your copy today. It is also available there's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, to buy the book. There's also a link for our store, online store. Get some South Florida Tribune merchandise today, or some Motor City Madmouth merchandise. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can catch us wherever you get your podcast: iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, Deezer, Castbox, you name it, we're there. Monday nights we talk hockey on Fire Up Florida. We also talk baseball on 108 Stitches Baseball Talk. Tuesday nights we talk Inside the Pigskin. Wednesday and Thursday nights on Sports Exchange and Fire Up, respectively. You never know what we're going to be talking about, so tune in to find out. Scott also does a one-on-one interview show on nofilter.net called Motor City Madmouth Show. And no, it is not the mild show. It is the Madmouth Show for a reason. And he's living up to his reputation tonight. If you have any show ideas, you can email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. You can, if you want to sponsor a show or advertise, call Scott 954-304-4941. Back to the program.
All right, D-Lows, the reason why I never got your question is that I was too busy burning off steam. But no, there is no South Florida Tribune Fantasy Football League. I always believed that, even though I played in that stuff before, I did it with the family. I did win one championship on Yahoo. But no, we don't. Okay, I believe in reality football. Stick a tape recorder in somebody's grill and get them to talk. So that's my. So with that said, we're going to go from a screwball from Herman Edwards to a stallion, and that stallion I'm talking about is ex-Michigan snapper Connor Stalions lands a job at Detroit Mumford High School as a defensive coordinator. It's no secret he's the most hated guy in college football with a sign stealing. But I want to give you a little bit of a story about Detroit Mumford High School. Number one. Everybody watched the movie Beverly Hills Cop, right? Eddie Murphy's wearing Detroit Mumford. But I have a bigger story than that. My parents and all their friends and family and all them went to Detroit Mumford. So I know all about Detroit Mumford High School. So you know what? If you can't stay in college, you might as well go back to high school where they're revered, okay? And Brian Flores is appreciated in Minnesota, and Connor Stalions is appreciated at Detroit Mumford High School. And who knows? Maybe Eddie Murphy will get out there. And I don't think my parents care. Well, my mom can't go. She's kind of like dead. But, my dad, when I talked to him about his old high school, we got a sign stealer. He probably won't care anyways. But, what are your thoughts, Travis, about Mr. Stallion going to Mumford?
I mean, I love it. I think it's a great move for him. Honestly, if I'm struggling, I need to rebuild myself. I need to rebrand myself, whatever it is. Then I'm going to go to a place that probably don't have the rules in place to stop me from doing the same thing I did in college and just and just dominate. Like I hope they go undefeated. Like legitimately. Like I hope they go undefeated and he builds another dominant recruiting whatever you want to call it sign stealing system that now he's better. Now he can be a better liar. This would be great. Like I'm here for that. Like when your child when you tell your child how you caught them in a lie, then all of a sudden they just get better at lying. Like it's not like it won't solve anything. Like that's what this feels like. So let's go to high school where they probably don't have the rules in place and the season's about to start anyways. And and then we'll just see what happens here. Oh, this is gonna be glorious.
Well, what's even more glorious is the way you answered that question, because anytime I can put Detroit Mumford on there with Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop, it is glorious. And with my parents' school, I will be talking to my dad about it. But you know what? I'm glad we got this topic on there. All right, since I've vented before, I won't drag this show into next year. Okay, Mel. So what do you think about the Stallion going to the Mumford?
Interesting, I guess. It'll be interesting. I really didn't think when I saw the question, I was like, I saw the article about it, and I said, wow, that's interesting. That was my response to it. Was like, wow, that's interesting. Went to Mumford, went to inner city school,
Right,
and he's going to continue coaching over there. Now, first I was saying, well, that could be pretty good for the players because they get an opportunity to have a college level coach to coach them. But then I'm thinking about what Travis just said, and that makes it even more interesting that he can just continue on doing what he was doing, where they don't have the oversight to catch him at what he's doing. And I'm sure everybody's doing what he did. He's just the one that happened to get caught. So It's just interesting. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that one way or the other.
Well, we burned up a lot of time in the other topics. It's okay we don't burn up time on other ones, but this was just too good to pass up here with Detroit Mumford, an inner city school, let alone my fact my dad graduated from there. Yeah, D-Lo there. That a boy, that's a company way. Oh, snap. Okay. Didn't know Scott wrote a book. Yeah, right, buy it. Okay, of course D-Lo. So he's just having fun. In the eyes of those guys, ball buster, dog check, and all that other business, buy the book, and he knows it. Good stuff, D-Lo. You're doing wonderful tonight. All right, Coach. Did you know about Detroit Mumford?
Yeah,
Before I
I
wrote
had,
it down?
I had seen that on Football Scoop, I think. First thing I want, just to remind everybody, sign stealing is not illegal. That
Right.
he didn't, what he's doing or was doing was not illegal. It was the traveling, the alleged traveling to other opponents and scouting, or having people scout, film, whatever they were doing. That's the part that was illegal. What Connor Stallion has as a guy that's a Naval Academy grad and a former Navy officer. He has a talent that every college coach wants to have a guy like that on their staff that has that, call it an ability, aptitude, or whatever. It's a knack, but there's just certain people that just are really good at that. So I don't think that we've seen the last of Connor Stallion. I wouldn't be surprised if, after a little bit of time and the dust kind of settles on all of this stuff, that he doesn't resurface somewhere at another college, because I think he's clearly very good at what he does.
I'm glad he got a job. By the way, Duval Dive, you can be a good salesman for me if you can go and get people to buy 6 books, give them out for stocking stuffers. Good stuff. This guy's speaking my language. Good stuff, Duval Dive. Good stuff. Coach Mono, buy it. Don't worry, Coach Mono. When I get done with your book, they're going to be buying that one too. All right. Go ahead, Bo.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's probably going to end up, back at the college level. Him and Herm Edwards have probably coached together. It'll be fine.
Hey, you know what, Bo? I've never seen you have so many laughs on one show, and I'm glad this one's a little bit different than most of the ones you're on. But keep it going, brother.
Oh yeah, no. Just watching you lose your mind has been hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, like Coach said, there was nothing illegal about sign stealing. I mean, every coach tries to do it to some degree. You still got to have the guys on the field stop the play. Like whether it's a running play or not, run play, pass play, whatever. Your 11 guys on the field still got to do something with it. So that being said, yeah, I figure he's going to rebound from this. He'll probably be fine at the college rank or at the high school rank, and end up back in college somewhere.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad you guys take the position. It's okay for the man to work, just like it is okay for me to entertain by blowing a gasket on certain topics. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it all the time, but boy, when I get one, I'm going to do it, man. I mean, but tonight's been fun. Now, this isn't something I can read my writing. Andy Griffith's statue. Oh, I meant Archie Griffin. Just kidding with you, folks. Statue will be unveiled at the Rose Bowl Stadium. I got to start off with Mel on this one since he's a UCLA guy. If I say USC,
Ooh, watch yourself there.
Yeah, exactly. I set you up for that one. So, what are your thoughts about Archie Griffin having his statue at the Rose Bowl Stadium?
Well, my thoughts are, I wonder why it took so long. If he was going to be honored with a statue at the Rose Bowl, why did it take so long? And then I looked at his record there. I know he went to 4 Rose Bowls, if I'm not mistaken, and he was 1-3 in 4 Rose Bowls. Because they won 4 Big Ten championships, and they went to 4 consecutive Rose Bowls, and he was 1-3. So I'm like, okay, why does that get him a statue? I mean, I understand he's the only person that's won the Heisman twice and all that, but his record wasn't that great in the Rose Bowl. And so I'm trying to understand. I was trying to do a little reading when I saw that. I was like, I didn't even know he had a statue, to be honest with you. So that's the first thing I did. I said, really? Archie Griffin's getting a statue at the Rose Bowl? That's funny. I mean, that's interesting. And interesting because it's UCLA's home field, but I also understand that that's where the Rose Bowl takes place. So I can understand the meaning behind that, but I was just trying to figure out, well, why is he getting the statue? And, if he did so great there, I guess, why did it take so long? He's 69 years old, I believe it is, and he's getting the statue there. So I don't quite understand it. I really don't. I don't quite understand it. I mean, I'd like to say long overdue, but as much disdain as I have for the University of Michigan, I have 4 times the amount for Ohio State University. So I don't understand why he's getting a statue there.
Yeah, but I understand why I made this a topic because you, being a UCLA guy, have just staying for USC, and that's why
Yeah,
you're
you're
talking
just
about.
trying to dig in a wound there, Scott. I get
Oh
it.
no, I'm not. You did really well at UCLA. I'm proud of everything you've done there. But let's face the reality. The one thing we know that USC is finally in the Big Ten this year, and it just so happens that they put it up while they're in the Big Ten. So whatever that's worth, it's worth. What do you think, Travis?
Well, I mean, to Mel's point, he was 1-3 in Rose Bowls. He was also, like to Mel's point, a 2-time Heisman winner. He won 4 Big Ten titles in 4 years straight. He's only one of 2 players to ever even play in 4 Rose Bowl games. Like literally one of 2. Well, then that might in and of itself just get you a statue at the field because there's only one other person to be compared against. I get it. And apparently, I just learned this reading in Los Angeles Times article. He's a permanent resident of Pasadena. That can be a second little checkbox for him. That'll get you there when you're turning 70. It's a lifetime achievement award, essentially. That's what it comes down to. And it stinks that it took him this long to get it because it kind of takes away the shine a little bit. You know how it is. Like you see that one artist who just gets that lifetime achievement. It's like, dang, are they really that great, or is it just they're just giving it to them because they're getting close to the end? Like it sucks that you get that feeling, but we've all seen it at these shows, and that's kind of what it feels like, unfortunately.
Okay, well, you know what? For anybody that's ever been to the Rose Bowl, there's plenty of room to put statues out there. I actually enjoyed the restaurant that was located next to the stadium on the golf course. I enjoyed it there. But all right, Coach, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's just weird, for all of the things that Mel and Travis just talked about. I mean, it's like, maybe their budget's behind schedule and it just took them that long to raise the money for the statue. I mean, this guy played for Woody Hayes now, you know what I mean? For Woody Hayes, not like Jim Tressel or Urban Meyer or Earl Bruce. He played for Woody Hayes. And tomorrow, happy birthday to happy birthday to Archie Griffin. He turns 70 tomorrow. His birthday is August 21st, so he'll be 70 tomorrow. But good for him.
I'll give you
a with him being from Pasadena. That could have something to do with it. Somebody trying to get some donation money out of them.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
go.
On an explosive night on Inside the Pigskin, I will tell you this right now. Okay. Woody Hayes got fired on my birthday way back when he punched a Clemson player. So he got explosive on my birthday and got fired, and I'm fired up tonight. And you know what, Coach? I'm glad you added that perspective there. Maybe long overdue, but I didn't know.
In Jacksonville, Florida.
That's it.
It was at the old Gator Bowl, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but the reality is that I didn't know he was a resident of Pasadena. So, why not throw him a bone and put a statue up there? Because I don't know if he wasn't successful up there in the first place, at least he still leaves his name. Let me tell you, there's plenty of place to put statues up there. All right, so who's left? Bo?
Mr. Bo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to add there. I mean, I was kind of going the route of, Lifetime Achievement Award also, and potentially donor money. So, I mean, that was kind of the way I was leaning on it. So it really not much to add at that one.
Okay, that's okay. But there are some topics we talk a lot, some we don't, and we move on. The Guardian Caps have made their NFL debut. Jonathan Taylor was among a few players that wore the helmet. So with that said, Bo, what are your thoughts about the Guardian Caps?
I mean, remember those stickers that they made for kids with the giant heads? I think they were called fat heads. That is 100% what the players look like rolling out there. It is Pee-wee football, right? Like the helmet is huge, and it looks like they're just going to run into each other and fall down. Like that's what that looks like. But I mean, if it's making players feel safer, I guess awesome. It makes me wonder a little bit if the league was like, hey, we'll give you a couple extra bucks if you guys wear this so that we can get people to actually do this. I feel like maybe there was some stocking stuffers for the guys that have actually worn it.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, Coach.
Um, you know what? That's a good take, Bo. But I'm going to take the opposite side of it because I think behind closed doors, I think the league is allowing this, and but secretly they hate it. You know, because here's the one thing about the NFL is everything when it comes to the player uniforms, it's so regulated. I mean, every week guys get fined for, their socks aren't right or whatever. I mean, they literally have ex-players that are employed by the NFL that stand by the locker room entrances every single week when the players come out for pregame warmups, right? And they're taking their notes, and then before they go back in for their pregame, after pregame warmup, if a guy has a uniform violation, it's that uniform officer's job to let him know, or they let the equipment man know. And if they don't make the correction and come back out for the game, they get a nice little FedEx package on Monday from the league notifying them of being fined. So I just think that, you know, and that's all for done for uniformity and the how things appear on TV. So I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just going on a limb saying that somewhere behind the scenes they're cringing at that. They don't really want that look, that Bo just described, but uh, because it's a safety issue and because that there's data behind it, they're caught. They're between a rock and a hard spot, right? And if the data is that strong that they really significantly reduce the impacts and the incidences of concussions,
Hmm.
then the next question would be, why do they not make it mandatory for all players to wear it if it's that big of a safety thing?
Okay.
So, the league has got a good way of, and players know this. The league has a great way of like preaching the right thing, but really not caring because one thing that they do care about, and the only thing that they care about truly, truly, is the almighty dollar. That's just a fact.
Boom.
Okay. Well said, Coach. That's all I can say. Of course, I've said plenty. That's why the voice is taking a beating, but it was worth every bit of it. So all right. But that all right. So go ahead. We've talked to Bo. We've talked to Coach of CB and the BC. Now we're going to go to Sherlock Holmes. I mean Travis. Okay. What do you think about the old Guardian cap?
Oh, I thought we were going to mail. All right.
No, not yet. I like to go ahead and do
Right.
things a little different. I learned that from my other half.
No,
Psych.
coach already hammered it, man. This is all about money. This is all about the almighty dollar. You follow the dollar. You can tell everything that's going to happen in the vast majority of these leagues. They changed the NFL kickoff rules because of injuries, because of concussions, because that's messing with the money, man. At the end of the day, the amount of kick returns were already going down one, but the amount of injuries and concussions that were occurring on those plays was the rate that it was occurring was still pretty high. Cool, we're going to adjust that because it's messing with the money. It's taking the players who are the product off the field. You're messing with the quality of our game. This is no different. It's the Guardian caps when they show the data and it says that over the last 2 years they've reduced the amount of concussions over 50% for players who actually wore them in practice, but then they wouldn't allow them to use them in the games. All they did was correct that issue. Hey man, if this is truly messing with the money, if our offensive line play is taking a beating because these guys can't stay on the field because they're getting into car accidents 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a week,
Right.
and we have these caps that can reduce that 50%, then that's increasing our take 50% by getting the best guys on the field. Cool. I don't care how it looks. Like until we can get a better helmet with these Guardian caps, maybe on the inside, this is kind of the option that they have on the table.
Oh
And
man, how big would those be?
fat heads, yeah, just like you said, the exact look that you're thinking about is exactly how it would look. But for the moment, you can do this, or you can have a hobbled San Francisco 49ers versus a hobbled Baltimore Ravens game with this 9-6 in the divisional championships. You choose. Like at the end of the day, they're doing what they think is best for the money, the product, the people to stay on the league, to stay on the field, and I get it.
Okay, Mel.
You want to take concussions out the game. You take the helmet out of the game. By putting more pads on the helmet, you're making it more likely that they'll use that as a weapon. The better the helmets have gotten, the more violent the collisions have gotten. Coach knows. Coach knows. I mean, when we grew up, they taught us to put the helmet right underneath the chin. That's where the helmet was supposed to go, right underneath the chin. And when you made contact with somebody, when you were blocking somebody, striking somebody, tackling somebody, if you want to get rid of concussions, you got to take the helmet out of the game. Now, when my dad played, he didn't have any face mask in high school. They just had a hat, a helmet. It wasn't leather. It was the plastic one, but it didn't have a face mask. Now, when they had the leather helmet, I guarantee you they probably didn't have as many concussions because guys weren't going in there leading with their head. So if you want to take concussions out of the game, you got to take the helmet out the game.
So Mel wants us to play rugby.
I'm just saying, if that's what you want to do, I mean, if you're trying to take that part of it out the game,
if you want to see something that's really a contrast to Mel's point, take a picture. Look at a defensive player 20 years ago in uniform, and look at one right now. Right. Look, we're supposed to be tackling with our shoulders, and what has happened is the shoulder pads have gotten smaller, and helmets have gotten bigger. So, the chances of making contact with the helmet has increased because the surface area on the shoulder pad is so much smaller. It's negligible now.
Everybody's shoulder pads look like a quarterback, like how quarterback shoulder pads used to look. And, the 49ers always had the nice little sleek shoulder pads. And I was wondering, well, how do their shoulder pads look except for Ronnie Lott? He had the big ones. But the rest of them, like Keena Turner and all those guys, they had the nice little small Roger Craig, nice little small shoulder pads. And, all of ours were, like this here, right? And Ronnie Lott's were too. But, and the rest of them, they had the nice little sleek quarterback looking shoulder pads. Well, now everybody's has that little sleek look. So, yeah, Coach, that makes a ton of sense. The surface area is entirely different than what it used to be.
You know what's amazing about this topic? I'm regaining my voice back because you guys all made a whole lot of sense. I'm learning a lot on this one. I really am. Everybody had a good perspective. The only perspective I have on this whole thing is anything that keeps the game safer and reduces head injuries, more power to it. Because you know what? I've been dealing with head injuries the last few years, and I'll tell you, it's more than it's more than Tylenol, that's for sure. Any other medication they're going to hit me with, no pun intended. But really, I mean, if you can and let's not forget, once upon a time, you had all this major lawsuit against the league, and the last thing the league needs is any more lawsuits going forward. So anything to make the game safer, I'm all for it. If it means guardian caps, so be it. All right.
Well, that's why I said there was probably some money like slid in someone's stocking because they don't want to get sued. Like that's the main thing behind it. Because to Coach's point there, they don't want it. It doesn't look good. They spend a lot of money on these helmets to make them look awesome, not to have
But there's some players who I know for a fact that want it. And I'm not naming individual names. Sure. I'm just saying I've spoken to guys who said that they were going to wear it because they've had concussions in the past. And they were like, no, there's no, I talked to my wife about this. We are doing this. And
are they heavy? I don't know. Are they heavy? Is it, what's the weight on them like?
The weight on the Guardian caps?
Yeah, are they heavy?
Not really, not significantly. But it's a different look, right? So that's what I'm saying. If it was the league, I just think it's a cringe for them. Like they have to allow it. They're going to allow it, but do they really want it? No.
Right, but I'm just thinking from a player perspective. These guys, this is a job. Like,
no, I'm talking about the executives, the people that the Roger Goodell's minions that negotiate the TV contracts and all that shit.
Yes, they don't want it.
It's in New York. Yeah, it's not aesthetically.
But any executive office at any job don't want safety precautions for their employees. You think the foreman at this construction site care if they got water breaks for these guys? Nah, man, get to work. Like they don't care. They are here for that money, and that is it. So I fully understand it.
So, Travis, let me ask you a question. What kind of caps are they going to wear when they go out there and fix the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium? They're going to use Guardian caps and use the old regular construction cap. Just kidding. Yeah,
Oh man, that was terrible. So
I know. I know. I know. I'm just kidding with you guys. You know I had to do it. Hey, I mean, you live in an area where they're going to fix that stadium up and they're going to spend a lot of coin to do it. I don't know. What do they call them? What do they call construction caps, anyways? What do they call
Hard
Hard
hat.
hat.
hard
hat.
hats.
hard hats? That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I got Guardian caps and now hard hats. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's all for the sake of fun. Keep them safe. Keep them healthy. That's all that matters. All right. We're going to have a new segment here tonight called a bonus topic. This is one that I really have a lot of fun with. You guys can answer it, then you all have your own parting shots. Okay, the bonus topic is a police officer pulled over a self-driving car for driving on the wrong side of the road. How is that possible? I don't know. Coach, what are your thoughts about a police officer and a self-driving car? And the other question is, would you even drive a self-driving car?
Man, if it was on the wrong side of the road, that's no, I would not drive a self-driving car. I would not ride in one. I like controlling. I like being in control of the car. At least not yet. You know, I need that technology to get all the bugs out of it first.
Yeah, do you need the Guardian cap to save you from getting hurt on that one? Let me
Yeah.
tell you, down in the Bahamas, I don't remember which one it was, or one of them Caribbean islands. I drove one of those little motor scooters there, and I'm gonna tell you, it was weird driving on the other side of the road. That's for sure. So, and yet a self-driving car. What is the cop going to tell the car, anyways? I'd like to even know what kind of conversation you have. Because according to Lost in Space and that robot, that does not compute. That does not compute. Whatever. I would be caught driving a self-driving car. I have a bunch of hats that are buried with the rest of them called King of the Road. And if I'm driving a self-driving car, I wouldn't be King of the Road. I don't know what I'd be king of, but not that. All right, Travis, what do you think?
I mean, I'm not a fan of any new technology. I'm just old, man. I'm not here for that. I'm gonna let all you suckers. That's a suckers bet. I'm gonna let all you suckers test out these things. Y'all be the test dummies. Y'all let me know that it works for like 2 or 3 years, and then I might think about getting it at that point. Like I'll be over here with the fat bottom TV for like 5 years before. And you guys have the flat screens. I need to make sure I put radiation in my head. All this, like, I'm just not here for any of the new technologies, and that includes these self-driving cars. I don't trust it. I don't care. Judge me all you want.
I'll judge you all you want. You're right. Period. That's all I'm judging you. The only thing I would drive would be a Jetson mobile. Then I'll have to deal with I-95 down here and all these people that are running each other. If you've ever driven I-95 in Miami, it's awful.
You said it. No. You said Jetson mobile. I'm thinking about that Jetson shower though. I need one of them in my life. What do they have, like the little
I'm talking about a George Jetson
monorail?
mobile. I'm talking about a George Jetson mobile where I can fly over all that chaos. All right, now what do you think?
It also helps that it folds into a briefcase, so you don't have to find parking either.
There we go.
That was one of my favorite cartoons back in the day. So, Bo, now that you're on here talking about it, what are your thoughts about the self-driving car?
Yeah, I remember reading about it. I guess it happened because there was a little bit of like construction cones or something, and then it got confused to where it was. But, at the same time, we're talking about a self-driving car, and every show or movie or whatever that has self-driving cars, what's the first thing it does? It kills people every time. So I'll go ahead and take a pass on that. I like driving cars.
Ditto. Great minds think alike. I had to find a way to get that in. All right, Mal.
Yeah, my daughter actually has one of those. She has a Mustang Mach-E, an electric car. It's self-driving. Somehow or another, the cruise control, whatever, you can take your hand off the wheel, take your foot off the gas pedal, and it will drive. And it was cool, except coming back through the mountains, going down the mountains, because it's kind of late as far as it turns. It kind of waits a little bit longer than I'm comfortable before it turns, and it's going at a pretty good clip. It doesn't put the brakes on either, going into those turns. So I was fine with it on the straight, on the flat land, but in the mountains, particularly going downhill around those turns, wasn't very comfortable. It waited too long before it started its turn. And so But I mean, I'm all about technology. Look, I mean, you're talking about the Jetsons. I mean, who would have thought we've been able to have a conversation where we could actually see one another on the phone? That's how the conversations were in the Jetsons. So I mean, we aren't far away from having those type of vehicles that can fly to get us from one point to another. It may not be in our lifetime, but in the not too distant future, it's going to be that way.
Hey, Herman Edwards, I'm going to bring you back into the conversation. I'd like you to have a self-driving car, period. There you go.
Man.
Lord.
All right. With that said, we're time for our parting. Oh, come on.
Yeah, you're going to get a knock on your door tonight, bro. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's not my heavy medication night, so I'll definitely hear what's going on. And if I don't, Buck-in Boots will let me know. Those are my nice little fur baby cats. So, with that said, we're going to have our parting shot where my crew can talk about anything they want. I don't care. They've taken the best of what I've had to offer, and they deserve this. All right, Mel, give me your parting shot, partner.
Wow. Well, I didn't see parting shots on there today, so I wasn't really prepared for a parting shot. But the funny thing is, I was watching the Big Ten camp preview or whatever it was, and I'm watching it, and then they're at UCLA. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. UCLA is in the Big Ten. And so it was just kind of weird seeing that and then realizing that, the Big Ten network, that UCLA is going to be a part of the Big Ten network as well. Right. So, I mean, all those kind of things I'm trying to get used to, with UCLA and USC and Washington and Oregon being in the Big Ten. But I'm looking forward to, seeing what the Bruins are going to do this year. I mean, they talked to, Eric Bieniemy. He's that guy. He's the real guy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do this year. What they're talking about, things that they're doing in camp. I hope they're able to do that out there on the field, because the Big Ten is going to be a little bit different than what the Pac-12 is. What the Bruins are going to do this year.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, Bo, what's your parting shot?
Yeah, so D-Laws mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but UCF brings Shaquem Griffin down to be a public speaker, and they surprised him while he was on stage with inducting him into the Hall of Fame. So pretty cool. It couldn't have happened to a better guy. So really awesome and pretty cool the way they did it. So if you didn't see it, there is some pictures and stuff of it.
Okay. Travis Holmes, what's your parting shot?
I truly enjoyed. I mean, you guys actually saw my live reaction when I found the article, but I enjoyed reading and hearing about Ghoster Sherilus, the former Detroit Lions offensive tackle and former, I guess, Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive tackle who
first round pick.
Yeah. Who was arrested for urinating on a passenger on a plane. Like, that truly made me laugh out loud. Like, I was giddy just wanting to talk about this. Because, dude, you get arrested for urinating on somebody for 20 plus seconds on a plane. And that's the first thing. But the second thing is, how you get peed on for 20 seconds? Like, that made me laugh immediately. I'm just like, wait, 20 seconds after the first 5, I'm moving. But 20, it means you like it. Like, I'm just all kinds of weirded out about the whole conversation. But it was like, dude, this is crazy. I guess the dude was in shock, whoever got peed on. But then apparently, Shirley says he took a sleeping medication that he doesn't normally take because it's an overnight flight. And he doing some things that he wouldn't normally do if he was on his own accord. But again, just a hilarious story. In real life, it's obviously not hilarious.
So how did it happen? I mean, did he whip it out and relieve himself?
I mean, that's
standing up.
That's the weirdest part. I don't know the detail as far as if he was standing or sitting, if he just like whipped it out and just like peed up in the air and it just landed on somebody. Like, I don't know how this happened, but I need those details too. Like this. I mean, if he was just over somebody who was asleep, then 20 seconds makes sense. Like, I'm just dreaming and all of a sudden I'm in the shower. That's different. But it was just a funny little story that I was just like, yo, this is out of the park. But this is.
So you said it was a long flight. It was an international flight. So where they were spooning?
Yeah, it was headed to Dublin.
Yeah.
So they were spooning.
Something like that, I guess.
And I agree with Rob here. I was like, oh, did they think it was R. Kelly? They thought they were going to get an autograph after or something.
I can tell you right now, I'm definitely going to like these parting shots going forward. Who knows what kind of creativity is going to come out of them? So, all right, who's left? You. All right, Coach.
My parting shot is to Will Levis and the number 8 Parfum de Mayonnaise. So I don't know. You know,
It's disgusting.
Right.
It kind of, not too much to say about that. I just think that
You gonna buy some? I'm gonna get some for Christmas.
They said it sold out in 90 minutes.
No kidding, really.
Oh,
That's
even before he came out, this is
people
crazy.
bought it. Spending money for that.
like, I don't like the smell of mayonnaise anyway.
I don't like mayonnaise.
Exactly. That's the last thing I want.
I don't think any perfume should be. No food scent should be used for any type of food scent should be used like for perfume.
But it's a Tennessee thing, man. I guess they just
I know.
they like that.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, we called him the Mayo Messiah when he was drafted. Like, this is a known thing, in Jacksonville, because we don't like the Titans. But that's
that coffee thing. Ugh.
Mayonnaise in your coffee, bro.
Like, I can't even wrap my head around why you would try that in the first place.
Oh.
Again, I hate mayonnaise though, so
yeah, I do too.
Well, let me tell you, the only thing I'd ever have mayonnaise on is deviled eggs. Otherwise, you can get rid of it. I don't want it. Period. Deviled eggs are actually.
I don't do deviled eggs.
I don't need that either.
I'm going to summon my inner Pulp Fiction and say, do you know what they put on French fries in Amsterdam?
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Mayonnaise. Yeah, man, they drown them in that shit. Remember that scene? Samuel Jackson and John Travolta.
They got mayonnaise ice cream too, FYI.
Oh, don't tell me that. Seriously.
No, seriously. They have mayonnaise ice cream. They have ketchup and mustard ice creams also.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I mean, Will Levis is more of the undercover brother. Extra mayonnaise for me, please.
Well, I'll say one thing about this segment. You know what it has in common with Canada? These one-liners go far and wide is what they are. Nobody knows what's coming out of them. I had to give our folks from Canada a little bit of a recognition here. I'll give you my parting shot real quickly. Shame on ESPN yet again. No, I'm not going to pick on Herman Edwards. I've said my piece about that. You know what? But shame on him anyways. Sam Ponder gets let go. Okay, bad move. I hope that woman gets a job tomorrow. I'm trying to understand why she did. Was it something that she didn't appreciate men participating in women's sports or something along those lines? I don't know. Bo, have you read up on that a little bit about why Sam got let go?
No, I just saw that. I just saw the article that they both got fired, but I just kind of lumped it into the networks firing so many on-air talent people. Yeah. And I mean, that's the way that felt more than anything else, because I mean, they let RG3 go also. Right. Yeah. And so these major networks are just really cutting their expensive hosts, and they're making the people that are still on their rosters do a
more.
Exactly.
Yeah, do a lot more. Yeah, Sam, they said she was getting 7 figures, and she was only on there during the football season. So, I mean, they can have whatever reason they want. They can say whatever it is that they want. I don't necessarily think it had anything to do with what she said. I don't think that what she said was out of line or out of pocket, and I think she's entitled to her opinion, and she should definitely not lose her job because of how she feels. Those are her feelings, and she's entitled to them. I do believe it was probably had more to do with the money. I think people are trying to make it seem like it had something to do with something else. But if she's making 7 figures and she's only working during the football season, then let's be honest. I mean,
that's fair enough.
When she got the job, I was kind of like, huh? When she got the gig, I was like, I mean, okay. So, I don't know. I don't know what the ratings have been. I haven't followed the ratings. I don't know what people have said about her online. Don't really follow that. I know I don't watch the show.
Yeah. Well, I don't watch it either. So, she's a very talented announcer for sure. And I know that she'll land pretty quickly. She really is pretty good. I've watched her, and she does a pretty good job. Anytime you're in a position where you're a moderator, you want to do the very best you can to give everybody an opportunity to say what they have to do and be fair about it. So, but, I once did a show on a Motor City Mad Mouse show on No Filter Network with with Deb Whitcast. And you know what? We talked about women in sports. So if you ever get a chance, it's also on our YouTube channel. Check it out. But yeah, Sam's a very talented announcer, and I know that she'll get back on her feet pretty quickly. With that said, that does complete this edition of Inside the Pigskin, but we have a little bit of business left. But why don't you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can find me here every Tuesday night, and then on my channel right there on the screen at Football-Talk for YouTube, and then of course all of the socials, Football Talk with Bo, Roku TV 5 days a week.
Look at that setup, unbelievable. In the eyes of Nick Vitale, that's awesome, baby. But I would say it louder, but my voice is finally starting to hit the wall a little bit. Not that it's obvious to figure out anyway. All right, Big Cat, the man that got the season pass. All right, Travis, let everybody know how they get hold of you.
To his point, you can find my writings covering the Jaguars on bigcatcountry.com. You can find, we have a podcast, The Duval Dive. You can find that on YouTube also in the chat right there. Just click it, like and subscribe. We love subscribers. If you want to support us, that's how you do it. And yeah, you can find me here every Tuesday inside the Pigskin, where we're always going to have hilarious times, always going to talk all the sports, and always going to have all the laughs. I appreciate you having me, bud.
We enjoy having everyone. You guys are family to me. How often can I go ballistic on some of the stuff I go in there, and I get an attentive audience where they have more fun watching me blow a gasket than we forget about what we're talking about. Of course, I have it written down anyways. All right, Coach. I know yours is probably simple anyway, but we'll have a. But you'll be an author. You'll be an author before it's over with. If I have anything to say about it, which I do. Go ahead.
You can find me here on LinkedIn, or you can find me here on Tuesdays with Bo on Coach's Corner on Wednesdays. And now that we're getting into fall, you can, never know I might pop up at your local high school game on a Friday night.
Very good. You're the man, Coach. All right, Mel.
Yeah, you can find me all the social media at Mel Farr Jr., just like it says there, and then follow what we have going on here in Atlanta, also in Detroit for the youth at melfarsuperstarfoundation.org.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to that event. Did you say it's next August, Mel?
Next August, that's correct.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that event. The weather got the best of me the last time, but it won't next year if I have anything to say about it, and I usually do have things to say anyway. All right, Candy, take us home.
You have things to say? No, none of us would believe that. So, the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book. Scott wrote it. It has all kinds of stories. If you thought he was funny tonight, you got to check out the book. Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It talks about how media has changed over his 40-plus years. It has a couple of pictures of him young with Muhammad Ali, with Tommy Lasorda. You got to check the book out. Go grab your copy today. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Apple, or Google Books. We also have a website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there's a link to that book. There's also a link to our store where you can get South Florida Tribune merchandise. I know you want a baseball cap, or you want a sweatshirt with South Florida Tribune logo on it, or Motor City Madmouth. Go check out that store. Stay on the website. Check out all of our plethora of material. We have the Jags transcripts. We have Dolphins transcripts, Lions transcripts. We have a lot of the local colleges, FAU, Miami Hurricanes, USF, and Florida Gators. We'll have to talk to Travis. Maybe he can get we can get UCF on sending us material too. But check it out. Go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. If you like to listen to podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Monday nights we talk hockey. Monday nights we also talk baseball. Tuesday nights we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday night Sports Exchange and Fire Up. You just never know what we're going to be talking about. It can be anything from cornhole to NFL to NBA to Olympics. We talk about it all. We've even had a hot dog eating contest talked about it. At Tribune South is our Twitter handle. If you'd like to advertise or sponsor a show, call Scott 954-304-4941. If you missed any of this, or if you just want to go back and watch, repeat, rewind, go ahead, go for it. But if you see that red subscribe button, that means you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel. Please do so. Then you get a notification when all of our shows go on and you can come join us. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. We want you back. Hey, Scott.
All right, Candy, well done. In fact, I want to thank my crew as always. You know what? I have a lot of crews I enjoy working with, but to tell you that I would favor one over the other is one thing, but this crew here unquestionably is my favorite. I mean, the wide range of people that we have, Bo, you know, to me, what can I say? You're just incredible. And Travis, you know, like I said, I've known you a while, got to cover Jags games. Coach Bono, you've come a long way as a broadcaster, my friend, and Mel too. So you can train people at any age, and I got the most coachable people and a lot of fun. And if they could go out there and watch me blow a gasket once in a while, and they can all laugh at it. I don't do that on purpose. Sometimes there's certain topics I do tend to become a little bit more passionate than others. But I guarantee you one thing, okay? I will not bring up self-driving cars on next edition of Inside the Pigskin. I don't know what I'm going to do, but it won't be that, okay? But you know what? And I enjoyed everybody having a separate parting shot, say what they want. So on behalf of Bo, Travis, Mel, Coach Bono, my name is Scott Morganroth, the Motor City Madmouth. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Inside the Pigskin, and well done by Candy Appling on the producing side. We will catch you next Tuesday night. Have a great week, and we'll have more hay so I can gnaw on it next week. Take care, everybody. Good night. See you next week.